So what I'm doing right now, jumping around a bit here, I'm going to put this wood around the perimeter of where the water pumps are going to go. And it's going to be sort of like a drip tray after I caulk the corners. And then I'm going to spray it with some of that rubberized coating like I did under the hot tub or whirlpool. And then over here I'm going to have a drain going straight down. It'll have a little gap, an air gap for draining the water out of the drip pan. But it will also be where that drain for the water tanks chases down through. So I'll probably use some 1.5-inch drain pipe to sleeve it. And then what we'll do is spray the sealing spray paint around that. Then we'll just run the PEX down through it. And then maybe tap a little spray foam in there and poke through it for a drain hole. So anyway, the idea is I want the pump area to be able to drain without ruining the wood in the bus, because it's likely at some point a fitting's going to spring a leak or, start dripping, etc. It's just going to happen at some point. So anyhow, that's the plan. I'm going to cut these pieces accordingly, caulk the edges after screwing them down, and then we'll hit it with that spray paint. It's the Flex, sort of like knockoff Flex Seal brand. So what I've done here is built a perimeter with these 1.5 by 1.5 pieces. So at this point I'm going to caulk the edges a little bit, and then I'll spray it with that rubberized black Flex Seal spray. So anyhow, after that I got to figure out where underneath the floor pans are, and make sure that when I screw down through or drill down through that I've got a good spot in between the supports. That'll have to happen from underneath, which means in the near future I need to get under the bus, possibly jack it up, most likely jack it up to get where I need to be. So that'll be fun. But anyhow, that's the plan. I'm going to get the Flex Seal paint on here sprayed down to dry after caulking. So I've got the caulk here on the drip edge, or the wooden tray here. Now it's time to spray it down with the rubber seal. And then when I screw the pumps to the floor, I'll put some sealant under their edges or over the screws, whatnot. But it should actually seal with the rubberized coating fairly decently. So just trying to avoid water damage and mold if we have a drip. There we go. I've sprayed the rubber Flex leak stopper stuff nice and thick, and we'll put a hole over here for it to drain out if it drips water in here. And that's also where like I said, where the drain for the tanks will go, and where the garden spigot will go. So I'll probably use a 1.5-inch pipe and put a couple hoses down through, and then from there that'll have a little bit of a gap for the water to flow out of this pan. So I've got the 1/2-inch PEX elbows. I'm going to start over here, get this one done. For this one here, I'm actually going to get my tin snips and chop that clamp right here and lengthen this one too, lengthen this piece so that this is more in line. I don't want it bending as much, so I'll have to redo that little segment. But I'm going to keep at it here. So I got the elbows placed. I lengthened this segment a little bit. Now I'm dropping the cold water. This will be the inlet to the tank, but it's also going to supply cold water over to the washer dryer. So I've got this cold water line running down. It goes elbows over and sort of runs under here. I'll get this clamped into place. But right in here it's going to tee up. It's going to feed the cold water on the valve for the tub, and then it's going to go over, continue underneath here and go over to the filter. I'm at the bus, got about an hour here. I'm going to start with the installation of the shower fixtures. I've got to do some layout, figure out exactly where I want them, and then I'm going to start by cutting a spot for the valve assembly, probably right in there. I think the spigot's going to go over there, and right above it I'll put the wand shower, and then the rain head will go in the center, sort of about 1/3 or so out. So that is the plan anyway. So right there I have the pen line layout for the valve assembly. I'm going to use this to catch the corners, and then I'll just be able to jigsaw the lines with a wood jigsaw bit. Then I'm going to have to figure out the depth. I think I need to, I'm going to use 3/4 ply to back it with, and then I'll shim it, I think, with like maybe 1/8 or 1/4 pieces. I got to take the measurements. It's roughly 3 1/8 depth that I'm shooting for from the back of the valve assembly. So I think the walls are like 2.5 roughly. Just about 2 3/8, 2.5 thick. So anyway, I'm going to get these holes drilled out, and then I'll work on the backer plate. And there it is, the hole that I've cut out. And I'll do a rough fitting here. I might have to sand the edges to make it fit, but we'll see. Alright, it's a fairly snug fit. That worked out pretty well. Here it is from the other side. Don't know if that's... move the stuff out of the way. There we go. So, looking at it from here, I can trim that plastic a little bit, but I think what I'm going to do is just back it off a little bit when I mount it. I've got to see what the depth measurement is and what the padding would be from the studs. But anyhow, that's where that ended up, and the cover plate will definitely cover the hole. I'll probably put a little bit of clear caulking around it when I finally fit it to make it watertight. So what I've done here is I lined this board from the edge of the studs, and I laid this out kind of evenly on the board. And so I kind of traced around it, and I've got some scratch marks here for the pilot holes for these slots. What I'm going to do here is, these look like probably 1/4 20 bolts might fit. I have to take a quick gander at the gap size here. Just kind of eyeball it. Yeah, 1/4 is kind of a fairly tight fit, but should actually work if I clamp it in place. I can kind of widen the hole a little bit once I lay out the pilot holes in the wood, and that'll hold it in place. So anyway, my plan is to recess the heads on the other side for 1/4 20 bolts, and then I'll put 4 of them through and kind of tighten this down. After that, I will be able to shave this plastic back a bit. I'm just going to do 3/4 thickness. Well, maybe I might do another 1/4 gap, and that way I won't have to shave that back. But the plan here is to bolt this unit to the wood, and from there I'll be able to screw it into place by lining up the hole and running some screws into the studs on each side. I have to think a little bit if I'm doing the spout at the same level. I have a drop ear that I need to align as well, so we'll have to get that lined up. First I'm going to do this though, and then we'll figure out the layout for the drop ear for the spout. So I've got the 5/16 holes drilled here. I widened these plastic bits a little bit to accommodate some bolts. I've got HDPE wrapped here. I'm going to tighten these fittings. Then we'll get this bolted down. I'll have to look at which pieces I'm going to stub out with some pipe before we mount this, just to make it a little easier. Because of the actually I'm going to have to put pipe on pretty much all of them, just because there won't be any clearance for the tool to get in there and work. So we'll have to unbolt this if I ever need to maintain it. But anyhow, I'm going to keep going here and test fit the bolts to start with. Alright, so that lines up pretty well. I just have the 3/4 spacers I'll need to add on these studs, each of the 3. And then I've got to figure out the spacing here for a drop elbow for the spigot. And then I'll have to do a similar thing up top here for the shower excuse me, the shower wand. And then we're mounting the other element up in the ceiling part here. So that'll be a drop ear up in the ceiling to mount. So anyhow, this is kind of slow going, this plumbing process. A lot slower than I had hoped, but it's a lot of detailed work. So anyhow, I'm going to keep going. Might be a while till I put a video out, but This is why. It's just little bits of stuff at a time. Alright, so at this point I've got the fittings tightened. I've got the nuts tightened on the bolts here. Next thing I'm going to do is trim 1 or 2 ridges off this so that it sits right. The front plate sits right on it. So you're supposed to be able to trim a couple of these. I'll probably just run a razor blade around the same slot over and over again until it snaps. So at this point I have everything stubbed out so that I don't have to try to access where I won't be able to access here for this mixing valve. These parts will go below. This part goes up to the rain head. This one's going to go up to the wand shower. So I'll be able to put that in place. So it's a couple days after the last clip. Got this valve assembly roughed in. I've got it kind of blocked in and screwed in place. What I'm going to do now is clear this tub out, get the debris out of it, and I'm going to locate the spigot hole, and I'm going to drill a hole through, and then I'm going to mark this piece of wood where that's going to go. I did actually locate through Amazon 3/4 PEX drop your elbow, and I got an extender here so that this should be adding another 3/4 piece going across. This should poke just through enough that the spout will be, at the right positioning. I believe this is right here. This is I'm going to say almost 3/4 thick. We got a 1/4 ply plus the 3/16 here, so it's almost 3/4. Enough that this is the right length. This is 2 1/4. It actually, looking at it flanged like that, it actually is pretty much the perfect length. So if I'm able to put a piece in here and locate it on a piece of ply, double thick here, we'll be in good shape. So anyway, I think I'm going to actually disconnect that little piece there right here and put a full length piece in to act as the backer for this drop ear. And then I'm going to put a piece of PEX on before I fasten it in place. So I'll measure for the hole size that I need to drill, probably about 1 inch around here. It'll be edge to edge. This is already tightened on with Teflon tape. And so I'm going to drill it from the inside out to locate the mark on this side after I put a piece of plywood in here. So anyhow, it'll make sense as I show you. So I got the tub cleared out of debris. Just checking the fitment here. I need it to be, for the spigot, at least 7 inches to the right side. I've got it about 8.5 here. Just trying to see how I like it. This is before it slopes too much over this way. So the waterfall spigot should come out far enough. I think I want the spigot to be in line with this. So I need to take a measurement off the deck here for the center of this. Go 8.5 over and make sure I've drilled the hole at the right height here. So I want the spigot to line up with this faucet vertically and just be 8.5 inches over. So that's what I'm going to do. Take a quick measurement and then line it up and drill a pilot hole. Alright, so I've got this pilot hole drilled 5 3/8 up from the tub lip, which is the same height as this faucet. It should look nice and symmetric when I get it mounted. So I'm going to make sure I've gotten to a good spot on the other side, and then I'm going to get the little hole saw out and cut that so that I can put the drop ear elbow and extension through. And right there we have the hole for the drop ear elbow, and I'm marking on the backer board, which gives me the center of the elbow. So I'm going to remove the backer board and I'll be able to put the elbow in position. And at that point, I'll be able to screw it down. So we'll be in good shape. So at this point, I've got this removed. I'm going to screw this drop ear elbow in right over that hole like so. And I've got the PEX piece already on it. That's going to join up to this red center piece to fill the tub spout, or to connect the tub spout. So the nice thing here is I was able to get 3/4 PEX all the way through. I will be using one piece that's Got the 1/2-inch PEX. This is going to be used for the shower wand. It'll be lower flow. But I'm going to use this other 3/4 PEX, actually switching these nipples. Other 3/4 PEX for the rain head shower, which will have a higher volume of water. So it's progressing, slowly but surely. So the drop ear elbow is screwed into place here. Hopefully it lines right up. We're going to find out in a minute. So I've got it positioned and screwed in place, and including that drop ear right there. Got 6 screws in it, holding it to the studs here. I'm going to go inside and show you from the other side of the tub here. Whoop. That drop ear is darn near perfect. It'll get kind of pulled in a little bit as the tub spout threads on. I might as well do that now. No reason not to. I'll go ahead and get that threaded in with some Teflon tape and show you what that looks like. So right now I'm actually just spinning on this Waterfall spigot, and hope I can get it good and tight without breaking anything. So we'll see. Anyhow, I'm going to keep at it. Alright, so right there is the Waterfall spigot installed. Might be a little bit off, sort of horizontal. Just a little bit there. Some set screws I can further adjust with, actually. Yeah, I think that's about right there. But anyway, nice and shiny. So I've got the backer piece here kind of roughed in a little bit. And now I'm going to get the drop ear positioned with using the drill bit through the hole. I'm going to put a mark on this, and then that'll give me the center position for that drop ear. So right here's the drop leaf elbow coming through for the shower wand. I'm going to go ahead and get that threaded in place, and I'll get the plumbing done to that. The rain head shower is going to be its own initiative. I did decide, just to not crowd the space directly overhead, to move the wand over at the same distance here as the spigot. So it's right over the spigot. And then that way the rain head comes down and there won't be any crowding up in this space with the rain head and the wand together. So anyhow, I am going to get that threaded in place and adjust the set screws and stuff, and then I'll start plumbing that shower wand. I think that'll be where I finish tonight. So right there I had to drill through. Twice because I hit a screw on this first hole, but I think we're in good shape now. So I've got this elbowed into the 3/4 line going down to the valve. So that plumbing is done. Now I'm going to thread in the hand wand fixture. And right there I've got the shower wand hung right above the faucet. I just need to put the handles on this plate. I think I may need to trim the plastic behind here a little bit. It's kind of pushing out a bit. And obviously where I can, I'm going to put some caulk in. Right here I think I'm just going to squeeze the caulk. I'm going to pull this forward, then kind of just squeeze the caulk into the hole here, and then push this back. So, but anyhow, I'm pleased with my progress. It's coming along inside here. Just got to do the rain head shower next. I'm going to go ahead and lay that out. Don't think I'll finish it tonight, but next time. What I've got here is a drop ear for the rain head shower. I've got a male-to-male coupling that'll get it to drop down a little bit below the ceiling. That'll make it much easier to tilt the rain head shower once it's screwed in place. So I'm about to use the PEX tool and crimp this on. I just space these screws with some nuts just to kind of make sure they didn't punch through the other side. They might have still, actually, a little bit, not a lot. So it'll be up in the ceiling, shouldn't be a real big deal. I'm probably going to lay a piece of 1/4 ply over top of the whole thing so that we can use it for storage, tag it down with a few screws, etc. So anyway, for right now, I am I'm going to get this PEX fitting put in place, get an elbow on it, and that way I only have one crimp to do up in the ceiling, which is not going to be easy, most likely. Probably get a taller ladder to do that. I'm going to drill some holes through the studs to be able to get this positioned, or get the pipes through to this, is what I'm trying to say. But right now I'm going to get this PEX crimped and then drill the hole for the rain head, for that nipple to go through. And right there is the hole in the shower ceiling for the drop elbow to come through. So here I am up above the shower stall in the whirlpool. I've got the hole drilled. I'm trying to just kind of fit this in place to figure out where I need to drill holes or dip into this so that we can bring the plumbing under. So I think what I'm going to do is just mark some lines real quick with a Sharpie as far as where this plumbing needs to go. I think it's going to come in right here. I'll drill a hole low, and then I've got to think whether I'm going to notch this more than halfway. What I might do is cut this on a diagonal a little bit to make it out of the way, and then just notch this fairly deeply, like halfway with a handsaw, so that I don't weaken the beam or the strength of the ceiling there. So, but I may also just be able to drill. I think that's what I'll do. I'll actually just drill up high, and then I'll just cut down notches to make sort of a channel or trough for this. That way I don't actually have to cut that piece. I think that's what I'll do. But anyway, I'm going to lay out where that's going to go with some Sharpie, and then I'll make the cuts and screw that in place. Alright, so I drilled some crude holes here through the studs. So I'm going to get this one slipped through the hole. Then this one here I'm going to cut with a saw real quick with a handsaw to notch it a bit. And it's just going to lay down in there underneath the board there. So that'll have us lined up pretty well. And I'll be able to then screw that support piece in. And for storage up here, I'll be just laying in lengths of 3/4 ply just to kind of support things. Probably just a grid work of some sort, and it's likely we'll just throw things like blankets or, you know, little tote bins or something up here if there's room. Maybe not even anything. We got lots of storage in the bus, but you know, I do want something supporting and reinforcing, some 3/4 ply, or might even just be 1/4 inch ply. I don't know, something to create a flat surface here. So I have that positioned. Now all I got to do is even it out a little bit and put some screws into it to hold this in place, and we'll be ready to spin on the rain head and trim this pipe. And then I'll put the PEX crimp on the angle here going down into the other hose. So good stuff. It's actually going easier than I thought this would. Famous last words. At least I have some wood right here to knock on. So anyway, I'm going to keep at it, get this fastened in place, and hopefully finish up the shower fixtures. Okie doke, so I got 3 screws in each side, sinking this in good and tight. So I'm ready now to mount the rain head and get the elbow put onto that to that PEX pipe. So nice progress, and I'm going to feel gratified when the shower is finally set up. Alright, so I'm going to spin this thing on. Alright, so that's in place. I'm going to get some pliers in behind and tighten it a little bit, but you can see it's quite shiny. Hello everybody. Look at my fancy new shower. Alright, so right in here I've spaced these out a little bit. I did not screw this all the way through because it would poke through the cedar, just enough to keep this wood stable. And these also did not puncture all the way through. I had to be careful of that. But I've got these pipes all joined, elbowed up into the shower. All I got to do now is clean up, and I can continue on plumbing the hot and cold water lines underneath and heading over toward the pumps. So I think that's enough material for a video here. I'll pause on the plumbing video at this point and give you a final shot here. Actually, I still need to put handles on, so we'll do a final shot after that. I almost forgot the very important step of caulking. I'm using transparent adhesive caulk here. I'm going to caulk in behind these fixtures where there's gaps. Then I'll push the plate back in place, and then I'm going to caulk behind that base plate as well. I'll do an upside down U before I push this into the wall to kind of stick it into the wall and create a sort of a shield, so to speak, so that any moisture goes around. But anyhow, after I do that, I'm going to vacuum and wipe this down a little bit, and that'll be it for the evening. Alright, so I have that thoroughly gooped up. Got some on the spigot here. I got to go around the bottom, but clearance was a bit of an issue with the caulk gun. The tail was bumping the wall, so hopefully I've squeezed enough out now I can finish that. But I'm going to push this plate onto this valve. And hopefully I don't get too much caulk squeezing out. None at all if I'm lucky. So I'm going to push that in. Nice and snug. And that adhesive caulk should hold that in place in perpetuity. That is window caulk. Good luck to me if I ever need to get back into here. I have to pry it out, but anyway, this should last for the foreseeable future without an issue. I just noticed a tiny bit of crookedness here on this edge. I guess nothing's perfect. So, got that in place. Now I'm going to finish these two items. Then I'll do the cleanup and put the knobs on. And here it is all done. I still need to wipe this tub down with some Gooby Gone. The cedar tongue oil that I finished the cedar with has got dirt clung to it, and just need to clean it all up. But got the regular hot cold, of course. We've got the selector for the rain head, the wand shower, or filling the tub. We've got the wand shower here and the large rain head right in the middle. So I think this turned out really nice. I can't wait to use it. And I think it'd be kind of cool actually to put a fog-free shaving mirror right here as well to shave in the shower. That'd be kind of neat. But my plan is to put some stainless racks on this side under that overhang, and that will hold our products and you know, bars of soap and things like that. So I should be able to get at least 3 or 4 racks in on that side to store our bath products, you know, right where we're going to use them. So anyway, very pleased. I think it looks great. Hopefully it works as good as it looks. So there we go.